B, pick a struggle. That's all I want to say. That's what I need to say. I was posting, or I recorded a video earlier today. And as I was going back and looking at the video and attempting to edit it, I thought, wow, you just sound like, woe is me. You know, you don't like the cold. You don't want to be here. You feel like you have PTSD because of all the job rejections that you got. It's like, bitch, excuse my expression, and excuse my foul language. I'm referring to myself, but I'm thinking, you need to pick a struggle. You need to figure it out. You want the cheat code. You want God to just send down the message and make it clear so that you know what to do. You've lost all confidence in your decision-making ability. You've also lost confidence in your ability to rebound, to become and be resilient. Like, you are playing and just have fallen into this woe is me. And you have to get out of it, because you know what's happening? Time is happening. Time is continuing to move. It's almost the end of February, and then we'll be in March. And you know what? Q1 of 2026 will be done. And then before you know it, it's June. And so it's like, Brandy, when are you going to just get up and make your move? Yeah, you don't have all of the answers. Yeah, it's scary. You aren't motivated. You're just falling into this rut. How can you get yourself out of it? That's where my struggle has been. How can I change this? I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. That's all my vocabulary has been filled with, is just what I don't want to do. Now, could this be attributed to perimenopause? Perhaps. I don't know. I'm not going to underestimate it, because our bodies are going through some changes. But I was just sitting there watching the video and just thought, wow, you are like, woe is me. And I don't want to do this. Nothing's going to change. If you don't want to do anything, and if you aren't totally fed up with your life and your options, and you don't do something radical, I mean, I'm trying not to be radical, but I feel like maybe that's what I have to do. I just have to yank the fucking cord and be like, I'm going to figure it out as I go along. That was one thing when I was traveling and I was in Thailand. The FAA had issued the directive for airlines to decrease 10% of their flight plans and their routes or their service. And it was maybe 2 days before I was supposed to leave. And I started getting worked up and started feeling like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because I really was fearful that the flight, once I got back to my flight from Dallas to Indy, was going to be canceled. And so I begun calling the airline to find out what it would cost for me to change my flight and fly into Chicago from Asia. In the event that my flight was canceled, I would be able to go to families, or Mr. could drive to get me. It wouldn't be such a long distance like Texas. And I had to stop myself. And I said, you are smart, you are resilient, and you're resourceful. You can figure some things out. Why spend your time getting all anxious and losing one of your last days in Bangkok? And so I cut it off, it being the anxiety. I got off the phone with the airline, because all that was doing was just winding me up even more. When I called them, it was going to be $225 to change from flying into Dallas to Chicago. And then when I tried to add a flight from Chicago to Indy, it increased the fare to like $1,100. And so I was just like, oh my God, the US. Blah, blah, blah. I was ramping up, and I had to take a step back and remind myself that all of those things, I am smart, I'm resourceful, I'm resilient, I will figure it out, and not let that issue rob me of today. And so, y'all, it's not easy. It is not easy changing your mindset. It's not easy to get up when all you want to do is sit on a couch. It's not easy. It's difficult, but time keeps moving. And before you know it, a whole lot of time has passed. And where are you? What are you doing? Feeling upset and disgruntled because you haven't made any moves? I feel like that's where I've been. And I've been in this situation for a few years, and I want to get out of it. I think now is the time that I have to get out of it by any means necessary. I have to make a move. Movement is better than none. Even if it's wrong, my fear is that I'm going to make the wrong choice and then have to take some steps back and feel less confident because I've made a wrong mistake. I have to remember at least I'm making the choice. And a mistake is the result of taking some type of action. Right now, I'm not really doing anything. And that has been so frustrating. And so if you find yourself in a predicament that you feel like you're just stuck, you're waiting for an answer, step out on faith. Take that move. Make that move. It might not be the right one. Hopefully, you can quickly rebound from it. But we shouldn't let bad decisions or fear, any of that, paralyze us. And we have to somehow make the move. We have to take one step, take one action, even if it's once a week is all that you can do. Start there. I'm not gonna post the video from before. It's just a bunch of whining. And yes, it's transparent, but who is that benefiting? It's not benefiting me. I'm getting it off my chest, but how can it benefit you? How can it empower you? I bitched and moaned about it being cold, it being winter, about not having motivation, about wanting the answer to come to me. That was the gist of that video. As I sat and watched it, I realized that is not what I want my channel or my story to be about. I want it to be about overcoming. I want it to be about becoming. I want it to be about doing it despite all the boxes being checked. That is the story. That's the message. That's the empowerment. So I hope that you are having a great day. Got to give myself a pep talk, and it's something daily because it's learned behavior. When we've allowed ourselves to stay in a place and stay in a rut, we're in an environment. Who we surround ourselves with has a big impact on our beliefs, our mindsets, our activity. And so there are a lot of things that we have to undo. So it's something that I have to regularly remind myself. I have to try to step it up and put it into gear. And so I just want to remind you to do the same. And if today isn't working, give yourself that time and then try again tomorrow. But the main point is that you don't stop trying. Okay? Glad we had this talk. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.